So it looks like Joe Biden decided to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. And my initial reaction to this is, how can you go out there and lie to the American people repeatedly and have your press secretary come out there representing the White House saying there will not be a pardon for Hunter Biden? And then you do it anyways. Now, should have Hunter Biden been prosecuted for these charges? A lot of these charges don't actually reach the level of criminality, but here's what I think happened. The DOJ wanted to appear impartial when it came to the trials of Donald Trump. And when they were going after Donald Trump, they were like, hey, look, we're prosecuting Hunter Biden. You can't say that we're biased in any way because we're going after Donald Trump. Never mind, you waited 2 years to even go after Donald Trump. I think initially if they went after Donald Trump after January 6th, everyone would have been okay with that. But they waited 2 years. Donald Trump decides to run for president again. They were like, well, it turns out justice isn't blind. It's only blind when it comes to certain circumstances. And since Donald Trump might get back into power, we're actually going to go after him. That's not how the justice system is supposed to work. If you actually think he did something wrong, you guys should have gone after him immediately. And as far as Hunter Biden's concerned, I don't actually care that he decided to pardon his son because that's just a father's love. I get it. If you have kids, you probably would do anything for them to help them. But let's not pretend that these don't have anything to do with the possible corruption charges that involve Hunter Biden taking money from Ukraine and him being the supposed Ukrainian gas expert when he didn't even speak the language. Why is this pardon so far-reaching? It's not just the crimes he pleaded guilty to when it comes to the gun charge and to the tax evasion. They actually think there might be real corruption when it comes to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. But they keep giving us this tired-ass line being like, hey, nobody's above the law. Clearly, there are people above the law. And there wouldn't be any of this outrage if they didn't go after Donald Trump to begin with. Say if Donald Trump ran for president and him actually being politically persecuted probably helped him politically because he was just like, well, a good chunk of the American people thinks that these are all political witch hunts, and that made him more popular. And now you've had the worst of both worlds. If you actually think Donald Trump did something wrong, then actually go after him when he did something wrong. Right off the bat. Don't wait 2 years and then as soon as Donald Trump runs for president again, they're like, oh crap, he's winning the primary. Well, let's go after him this time. That's not how our justice system's supposed to work. And if they didn't go after him and then no one would care if Joe Biden pardoned his son, we'd be like, hey, a father's love, I'm human too, and I get it. But for you to go out to the American people and lie repeatedly saying that, hey, Donald Trump's an existential threat to democracy. Hey, Donald Trump thinks he's above the law. Well, you just showed that you think your son's above the law. And if you don't like the laws he was persecuted with, then work to change them. Don't be Johnny-come-lately and be like, hey, yeah, he violated these laws. Yeah, I think these charges are bogus, but then change the laws. Don't wait for your son to actually be charged with these offenses and then simply give him a get-out-of-jail-free card. That's not how this is supposed to work. Because now you can put quotes between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Donald Trump saying, hey, this is a political persecution after me. And then the White House releases a statement saying that I think these charges are corrupt and I think this is a political persecution of my son. There's no difference between you two at this point. Never mind the classified documents case, which they tried to go after Donald Trump with, when Joe Biden technically violated the law too. And the only reason he wasn't prosecuted is because he's a sympathetic elderly man with memory problems. That's what the DOJ said. And this is during the time he wants to run for re-election. And I'm aware of all the corruption of Donald Trump. Yes, he had Jared Kushner get $2 billion from the Saudis. But you can no longer criticize that because you just gave the biggest conflict of interest in the world a pardon. So it technically means whatever Donald Trump does at this point is okay. It's a joke anyways. And this is your DOJ. Him making that White House statement saying it's political persecution, you are basically admitting that the DOJ is corrupt. But this is sad. This is what I expect from politicians now. They're just all notorious liars. Are you really surprised Donald Trump won? Yes, Donald Trump lies a lot. But you guys blur the lines repeatedly. And the one thing I like about Donald Trump, he basically exposed the Uni Party for what it is. There are people in the permanent powers of Washington who can get away with whatever they want. They can pardon whoever they want. And then when Donald Trump goes in there, it's only bad when Donald Trump does these things. It's basically showing your ass to the American people and being like, well, you know what? I'm president. I can do this. I'm going to do it. Now, I would say Democrats, don't bitch about whatever Donald Trump does. If he pardons a bunch of January 6th rioters, well, apparently the pardons become political at this point. which is a tragedy.